This is a long rant. I filmed this in 10 minutes, and it's probably not super professional. It is kind of filmed on my phone, but I have something I need to say about Cyberpunk 2077. People need to chill out about this game. Everyone was on the hype bandwagon. It was going to be the greatest game ever. It was going to save lives. It was going to cure cancer. And it didn't because it's a video game. Okay? It's a video game. So now everyone's on the hate bandwagon, right? We tend to do this as a community. When a game doesn't meet our expectations or it goes bad, we go from being super hyped to super salty. And that's just kind of how humans think, right? But everyone needs to chill out. This is getting a little bit ridiculous. So I am going to go against the internet hate and defend CD Projekt Red and Cyberpunk 2077. Point one, it's a good game. When we look back at the bad games of the last few years, we see a couple notable examples: Mass Effect Andromeda, Anthem, or Fallout 76. I'm pointing to these specifically because they are RPGs. Now, these games were all buggy at launch, and that was certainly one of the problems. However, a far bigger problem was that they were bad games. They were repetitive, soulless, empty, had predatory microtransactions. They were just unfun games. If you patched them totally, if they were perfectly playable and stable, they would still be bad games because the core elements of the game was broken. Now, when we look at Cyberpunk, we see a very good game, right? It's not broken to its core. The core mechanics of the game are rather strong. Instead, it's just a bunch of technical issues. If you ignore the resolution, if you ignore the technical bugs, you are dealing with one of the best RPGs of the decade. There's no fluff. It's all handcrafted, great content. The combat is fun. The weapon variety is great. The city is more detailed than any other game city yet made. It's a fantastic game with a fantastic universe. And that doesn't even count the writing and the stories, which are amazing. It is as good as The Witcher 3. It is probably the best RPG I have played in years. Again, if you ignore the technical issues. If you want to fix a game like Anthem, you just need to make Anthem again. You need to completely redo the whole game. If you want to fix Cyberpunk 2077, you need to fix the bugs and sharpen the resolution. That's really it. And then you get all this crap about, oh, the NPCs are dumb, or the world's not interactive enough. This world is going to be immersive because of the detail, not because of the interactivity. The world here is as interactive as Far Cry or Metal Gear Solid or Horizon Zero Dawn. It's as interactive as any other open world, really, besides games like Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption. But Rockstar's Red Dead Redemption and Grand Theft Auto both kind of focus on that open world freedom, whereas this is much of a more RPG story focused game. Point two, we don't know what happened. So the narrative right now is that CDPR knew that the game was broken, and they intentionally hid it from everyone to make sure that their launch sales were high. And that makes sense. However, I don't necessarily think that's what's happening here. What I'm guessing is that they made the game and it looked super good on high-end rigs. And then they tried to optimize for PS4. But the PS4 and the Xbox One do not have CPUs strong enough to handle this complex lighting system, or to handle these complex textures, or to handle this detailed open world. So it chugged. And what they probably did is they took off all their people from bug fixing and put them all on trying to get the last gen version up to 1080p and 30 frames per second. I would bet you that they, up until the last moment, were trying to get a patch in there that optimized the game. I bet that's why there was that tweet that said it's a different game with the patch. I think that 1.02 patch was supposed to include something that got the game to 1080p, and it just didn't work. Maybe they found that with that 1080p resolution, the frame rate was just radically too low or something. So they had to stall it, and they had to continue to optimize. That may be why they didn't release the console version for review. They may have honestly thought they were dealing with a beta version of the console game, that they were going to release this patch on day one that was going to radically fix most of the game's significant resolution issues. And that makes sense because you wouldn't release an unfinished version of the game to be reviewed, especially with the resolution that was there, which is bad. Now, maybe they just hid it to make money, but I'll get to that later. I think there's proof that's not the case. And either way, we're going to know pretty soon. If one of the next two patches improves the resolution on last-gen consoles, then I'm right. Because to optimize a game like this for that old hardware, that takes months. That's not a days-long process. So if it rolls out here, that means this has been in the works since October or early November. So we're going to know if I'm right here on this soon enough either way. And then number 3, they apologized. And this is what feeds into point 2. If they had just intended to release the game in this broken state and their whole goal was to get a bunch of pre-orders and to make sure they made a bunch of money, then why are they offering refunds? Kinda goes against that business strategy, don't you think? Why would CPR spend the last 12 years desperately cultivating a bunch of goodwill in the community only to throw it all away just because they wanted to get some momentary gains? That is incredibly out of character for them. I think it's far more likely they were in over their heads. They couldn't get out of it. They were backed into a corner. They had already spent all the money on marketing. The games were sitting in a box in the back of every GameStop, and they had to release. But either way, they have apologized for the game. They didn't just say, "I'm sorry." They specifically stated what they did wrong. They stated that the old console versions, the PS4 and Xbox One, don't look good. They stated that the game was too buggy. They specifically said what was wrong with their own game, and they apologized. And then they offered everyone a refund. Now please, I'll wait. Tell me when this has happened before. Because when Fallout 76 went bad, Bethesda never apologized. In fact, they made it so you couldn't get refunds. Remember that? Did BioWare apologize for Anthem or Mass Effect Andromeda? Have you ever seen a AAA company not only apologize, but then offer everyone a full refund on the game? No, you haven't. So I keep seeing this, oh, they're just saving face. Oh, a bunch of crap about how everyone's still mad. And I get that what you really wanted was that the game was released in a playable state in the first place. And I'm with you there. I'd prefer that too. But we don't have a time machine. So here's the reality we're in. And CDPR did the best thing they could do. They apologized and offered a refund. No other company has ever done that, and no other company in the industry would ever do that. It's ridiculous. So, when people get salty about this, when they say they're saving face, if it was just an apology, I'd say, yeah, they're probably just trying to save face. But they're putting their money where their mouth is because they are giving you your money back. What else are they supposed to do? Are they supposed to just snap their fingers, make the game perfect? Seriously, what are they supposed to do? They apologize to give your money back. This is as good as you're ever going to get. This is better than you're ever going to get. Stop complaining about that. It's ridiculous. And this feeds into the narrative. If CDPR was just trying to deceive everyone, why are they giving everyone their money back? It makes no sense. They could do what every other company ever has done, and they could take the money and run. But they're not. They're offering your money back. They're saying to please stay with them. I'll end this by asking that you please consider sticking with the game. I have the game on PS4, and I played 50-60% of the game on the PS4. Was it great? No. The resolution was awful. But it is still a fun game, and I still enjoyed myself. And I support CD Projekt Red. I know I'm going to get called a CD Projekt Red fanboy, and maybe that's true. I'm a fan of a lot of different studios and a lot of different games. And I support those studios until they repeatedly screw me. CD Projekt Red is the same company that made The Witcher 3. This is a company that every time they make a game, they go as big as they can go, right? They made The Witcher 2, a game that competed with Skyrim despite having a tenth of the budget. And then when they got the budget of a game like Skyrim, they made The Witcher 3, a game that made every other RPG on the market look like crap. They never put DRM in their games. They never have microtransactions. The DLCs they release are almost always Game of the Year material onto themselves. This is a company that has tried to do good in the gaming community, and it's one of the few. If we don't have them, we have Bethesda and BioWare is the remaining two RPG makers, and they both suck. So don't burn CDPR down over this. Don't wish them harm because you're not going to get any better than them. The game is out, and I understand if you're really upset over it, and you have a right to be upset over that. But consider keeping the game. Keep it on your hard drive, play something else. The patches are coming. In 3 days, they may have this resolution patched out, and it may be a perfectly playable game. And then you'll get the next-gen upgrade for free. Or when you get a PlayStation 5 or an Xbox One X, you'll get to play it on those systems for free. So you can still play the game and get your $60 worth. And it helps support a studio. Support studios through thick and thin. They're going to make mistakes. There's going to be missteps. There's always missteps. Don't just jump ship at the first sign of trouble. Try to stick with them. Try to help them because they're a company that has tried to do good for all of us. So I'd ask you keep your copy. That's it. I know this probably isn't going to be the most popular video, but I had to say something because the whole narrative here is CDPR is evil now and the game is awful. And the game is not awful and CDPR is not evil. I think it's more complex than anyone understands. I think they probably thought they could get the game optimized in time for last-gen hardware, and they couldn't, and that's sad and that sucks, but this is the timeline we're in. We have the game. It is a great, good, even masterpiece of a game. So let's support CDPR. Let's give them good feedback. Let's get this thing patched up over the next weeks and months. And then let's enjoy the game. And then when it comes out on next gen and it's just stunning, let's enjoy it there too. And when we get some big DLC and some crazy space casino or the moon, let's enjoy that. Or we can all get refunds. We can shit on CD Projekt Red on Twitter and YouTube for the next 2 years. They can go out of business, and then we can enjoy our BioWare and Bethesda games because that's what we deserve at that point. I'm going to go play the game. Bye.